Okay, so finding the equation of the regression line. So sometimes we're going to get given the scatter plot with the line already done on it. So in this case, we haven't been given the list of data. We've just been given this diagram. So, but they can ask us to find that equation, you know, the y equals a plus bx. So what you need to do is, we're going to go through this here. So it says the first step is to mark coordinates that lie on the regression line. So the regression line is that line there, okay, the actual solid line. And we want to get 2 coordinates or 2 points that line actually goes through. So I'm not talking about an actual dot, just a location that line goes through. So say, for example, I can see here, and I picked that one down there on the axis there. So that point is actually, if I look, it's on x is 21 and y is 17.4. So it's a little bit hard to read on your paper, but in an exam it'll be very clear. This would be a bit bigger and you could see. And the other point I'm going to pick is I'm going to pick up here because that line crosses through there pretty nice. And I'm going to say it's 26 is the x value, and we'll say 19.1 was the y value. Okay, so you're just getting 2 points that line's going through. And what we're going to do is we'll just pretend that that's like our list, and we'll do the the linear regression equation like we do in our calculator. So you can see here, I've just pretended I've got an x and y list, and I've put in those 2 points. So you can see when x was 21, y was 17.4, and when x was 26, 19.1. And then what I've done is I've done that, you know, when we go menu, stats, stat calc, and then I've done the linear regression a plus bx. So I've gone in there, and my x list, I just actually called it x, so I picked x, and my y list I called y, and we end up with, we can get these 2 values there that we need. And then what you do is because they said find the equation, I need to make sure I use the right variable name. So I wrote wrist circumference equals, and then I put my a value, which was 10.26. Then I put the b value times the explanatory variable, which you can read off the graph. All right. Oh, sorry, response variable. All right, so that's how we can, if we get asked to find the equation from if they've given us the line. Let's have another practice here. So if you have a look, what I'm doing here, I've found 2 points. So I went to the 10, so 10 up here, and I could see it crossed through 92. So that point there was 10 and 92, and you can see I've put it in here in my list. And then I found another one. I went to 24 because it crossed fairly close there, and I could see it crossed at 32, so that one was 24 and 32, so I used that as my other point. Then I did the lin reg, and I wrote out the equation. So this was my response variable, so I've put it there, and this was my explanatory variable, so I put that there, and there's my b and there's my a value, which I found in the calculator. So that's the easiest way for you to do it, and that's all we have to do if we're asked to find the equation of the line if it's already given. Okay, so the next bit is, this one is a bit more common to happen in your exams, and probably could happen in a SAC. So what they have actually given here is they've given the least squares equation. So you might write that. So we've been given the least squares equation, given the equation, and we're asked to draw it, on the graph. Okay, so what you've got to do is you're going to choose 2 x values from the axes below. So just pick any one that you can see there, because we don't want to use 0 or anything, because 0 might not even be on the graph like that you can see. So the 2 I've picked is 5 and 20. If you picked any 2, it'll work. Okay, so what I'm going to do is substitute that 5 into the formula here, which they've given me here. So you can see here, I popped 5 into that formula, and when the entry fee was 5, I found the number of entries to be 39.9. So you can see up here, I've crossed it at 39.9. Okay, so when X was 5, I went up the 5 line and crossed it there. Then I picked another one, and the one I picked was 20. It doesn't matter, you just need 2. And I picked another one, and I popped it into the formula. So then when X was 20, we found it to be 8.4. So once you have those two crosses, you just get your ruler and you just rule a line through the 2 crosses, and there you would have your least squares regression line, or the equation they've given you. So I'm gonna draw it. I'll draw it with an actual line. So there you go, there's the line. Okay, so if we have a look at this one, once again, they've given me a scatter plot, and they've given me the least squares regression line, the equation, and they're asking me to draw on the graph, the line. Okay, so this time I picked 10. See, notice that it's not 0. So that definitely isn't the y-intercept. That's starting at 10, so it's not the y-intercept. So if we follow this, we just put 10 into the formula, and it was 50.4. So I'm going to go up. So 10 and 50.4 is, I think, about here. It's very close to the bottom. And then when I typed in 40 into the formula, I got 1443. So I'm going to say that's 1, 2, 3, 4, about here. Don't worry, it'll be a lot bigger on your page, and they're not super stressful as long as you're close enough within the vicinity. And then I'd line up those 2 crosses, and I would draw that in.